day about freedom. It's a Pesach. 30 days before Pesach, we have to learn about Pesach. What the meaning of this festival and this time. And we know that this is it's a festival of freedom, Chag HaCherut. That's how it's called in Hebrew. And so, what we really celebrate on Pesach? We celebrate, of course, that Hashem took us out from Mitzrayim, exile from Mitzrayim. And we appreciate that, and we are delighted from the fact that Hashem took us out from Mitzrayim, exile, exodus, very great thing. But not always we pay attention, not always we think who put us in Mitzrayim. Mm-hmm. It means that Hashem took us out and He put us in. So what's a great celebration? More than that, I can give you like an example. You go in the street, somebody kidnapped you and put in some his home prison, and he keep you there for 4 months, let's say, or 4 years, and after that he released you, and he says, no, now you have to be thankful to me. You shouldn't forget that all your life, and tell to your descendants that how I gave you freedom.
But we became a nation in Egypt.
Yes, and it's better to you. You became a strong guy in my prison. You became.
We could not become a nation in Canaan.
Why?
They would have killed us.
No, I mean,
Plishtim and
without going to Mitzrayim, we couldn't be a nation.
I think so.
Why?
Because if you grow on the land,
Yeah.
it's your land.
Yeah.
Your neighbors would just kill you before you get strong.
But
What do you think? The Plishtim and the Canaanim are good people?
no, they're bad people. But you remember, it was in Shechem. It was a situation in Shechem. We were strong enough in order to.
With Pachad Elohim.
It's true, but also we know in history there were some tribes that they became stronger and bigger and more and more and more and more grow up and became nation.
Okay.
Why Jews couldn't do that?
Well, maybe we would have killed each other first. Like Yosef and all the sons of Rachel and sons of Leah. There was so much tension between them without the Torah.
Mm-hmm.
Before we got the Torah,
No,
maybe
Hashem could give us Torah without being in Egypt.
in Egypt we were no threat. We were, and Egypt was also rich. We needed money. You need money to build a country. You can build a country from being a shepherd with sheep and.
But a lot of nations became like this. They grow up little by little.
Criminals.
Pardon?
First you become a criminal, and then you become a respectable criminal, and then you become a country. Israel cannot do this. We cannot. We cannot be criminals.
But why criminal? Why?
That's the world. The world is run by every prime minister, every country, every politician is a criminal.
Sure, but nationalities aren't formed from prime ministers and politicians. Nationalities are formed from inside.
Look at our neighbors in the region we live in. Each Hamula is a crime family.
That's something else.
Sure,
That's-
but yeah,
It's something else. It's a different world entirely. It's exactly the same thing. You think the English are any different? The Germans and the Russians are any different? The Americans?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think you get money and power and be in America? Why do they call them robber barons? All the Rockefellers and all these people? You'd be a crook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's money. Money
Mm-hmm.
talks, and that's how people get money and they get power.
I don't understand.
Hold on,
The
but
cashier.
that's not
Yeah,
how
I don't
national
understand
identity.
cashier- the
the
cashier is that if
what
we-
you're
if
saying
It's not an option for Bnei Israel. It's not an option for Bnei Israel to be like this.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to Mitzrayim and we grow in Mitzrayim. We work.
But God
And we don't
told
get
us-
paid.
God told us that we're going to be going there from time of Abraham.
The Rab's question is why? Why do we need to go to Egypt? That's the Rab's question.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting idea. I never thought about the like that you have to be very cruel and fight and the criminal and all that in order to be a nation. It's yeah. I never thought about that, but
I mean, it is
as
human nature. Like, actually, it is human nature.
It's
But it's not.
history. It's
but
human history. It's just
yeah, you're right. In history, all of us, all nations, they pass through some period that they have to fight and to kill. But you know, I think even later, after that we went out of Egypt, we also where we killed a lot of people and we fight our wars and yeah, but it's not called criminals. We are
we had a schut, we had a no schut, we had a permission, we had a heter from Hashem.
yeah.
Not a heter, it was a mitzvah. You must.
Yeah,
So, you know.
so why we could also in the same way we could fight and became stronger and stronger little by little and we all became nation. I don't know.
Well, but not for Hashem, for ourselves, but not for Hashem.
I imagine myself that yeah, all our like
If you do it for yourself, you become a criminal. Like the rest of the world. The rest of the world.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why is this so special? Why is this one any different?
I think I think it is special. What you say, I understand what you're saying. It was great discussion between Jacob, Yaakov, and his sons. His sons that they killed all people of Shechem, and Yaakov he was like against of that. You remember he said yes.
He was upset with them for it.
But think that Yaakov doesn't say that he didn't say like you shouldn't do that.
No.
He said we
We're going to
still weak, we are little. He didn't blame them for their doing. And so what's the justice in their acts? Justice is that if someone hurt you, you have to be. You have to fight. It's not criminal. You have to be strong and fight and be able to protect yourself. Why it's criminal? Why you call it to
Because-
defense this in this name?
If you well, what happened to Chav and the kingdom of Israel? They made deals with bad people, with Aram, and then it bounced back on them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what would happen in the beginning. Plus, Hashem, he took us out from that because he didn't want us to be like the Canaanim and the Plishtim. We became like the Egyptians anyway. I mean, we became like idol worshippers in Egypt. But he needed to show us to rescue us from this, to show us miracles, to show us and to show the world, the miracles, and to get us very, very rich.
it's very difficult to that because Hashem wanted to make miracles. We have to suffer for that, and
We'll
he.
suffer anyway.
But to be hundreds years slaves, it's not the same suffering. It's when you're free person. I don't be before we went to Egypt.
Where? I mean, in Canaan?
No, we were free people, and then we.
In with no land. We were Bedouin.
I think we had land. Yaakov bought land,
Burial.
no, it's Avram Avinu Marat Michpela. Yaakov he bought land, and they could,
Field and shit.
and also it's people that they in those days not all lands were belong to someone. I imagine to myself they could find some place that doesn't belong to nobody, and they can live there. It's but in order to have land, you have to be in Egypt to be slave.
If you want land, you have to be powerful.
Uh,
Otherwise, people take it from you. It's like, and in the Middle East, water. If you want water, like what happened to Yitzchak when he went to the
they fight, and then find
well,
some.
They took the well. He dug another well. They took the well.
Yes, and then last time.
Why is our enslavement a necessary ingredient there?
Pardon?
I think your question is why is our enslavement in Egypt a necessary part of that?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said before.
But I'm not sure I understand how it.
Okay, so it's conception. I understand what you say. It's wise idea, but I'm not. I don't think that it is necessary way of explanation. Okay, maybe, but still, the question is coming. Who is late? I will say in a few words. We grateful to Hashem that He took us from Egypt, but we not always pay attention that who put us in Egypt. Who put us in Egypt?
The time in Hashem.
Hashem. So He put us in prison for a few months, and then He released us, and He says, "You have to say me thank you, and you have to glory me in all my your history that I released you." Why?
Well, maybe our suffering in Egypt was related to the fact that we were idol worshippers. We became Egyptian.
Yeah. So what is good for that? Why we have to be thankful for Hashem?
To show us that we need that. We need the Torah.
The Torah He could give us Torah in Jerusalem, in Eretz Israel. It's not connected to Egypt.
It's a step of learning. It's like when we enter Egypt, we didn't have much, and when we're in Egypt, we learn a lot.
What?
It's a process of learning.
Yeah. Okay. But still, that's what I try to understand. What we learned there. What this? It's written that we went from Egypt with great benefit. It's written. Kadosh Baruch Hu said to Abraham, "Your descendants will be in a foreign country for 400 years, and then they will go out from there with a lot of
Riches.
how is a lot of what?
Riches.
Riches, yeah, with a lot of riches. So that's what I try to understand. What this riches is.
Spiritual or material?
Pardon?
Spiritual or material? Spiritual?
Spiritual, any riches. Would you pay for that to be in Egypt 400 years?
This was our salary.
Yes, this is a salary. That's what I ask.
Well,
What kind of salary you could justify the fact that we were there slaves? Think of all this idea of slavery. What kind of salary you can justify?
If we were free in Egypt,
Yeah.
and we got the salary every week or every month, what would happen to us?
It's something else.
We would waste the money.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
We would become Egyptian.
Yes,
and then
yes.
we would never come to Israel. We would never come. To
Yeah. But still, if you have salary, you are a free person. You can quit. You can
free
go.
To be a slave.
You can.
You're a slave to your.
You can
mentality.
leave
You're
this
slave
country to
your,
go to another place. You are free.
Slave to your desires, and you're a slave to many things.
Oh, that is the idea. This is what we try to understand. What this benefit, what these riches that we got from Egypt, that it was worthwhile to be there, and for that to thank God. This is the question.
Well, we saw with our own eyes,
Mm.
Our family members.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not mefurash, but it's one midrash is that 80%, 80% of Israel stayed in Egypt.
No. Yeah.
And that's a big lekach.
Yeah.
From the personal. Your brother, your sister, your grandmother.
Yeah. It's
a very hard
terrible.
lesson, but it's the truth.
Yes, it was terrible. Yeah. So what we earn from that?
Being humbled.
To be what?
We're being humbled.
Humble.
Hashem wants us to be humble because before then, every son of Yaakov is just raising their pride. Like, I'm the son of the first, I'm the first beloved son.
Mm-hmm.
I am the first wife's son. And when they come out of Egypt, all of them are equal. They're all slaves. There's no more like this anymore. So I think it's a process of learning. And
where you see that we weren't humble before?
In the brothers.
So what brother says?
The brothers is keep saying that you're a son of a slave, you're a son of a concubine.
Yeah, they were fighting with each other. So
when we are in Egypt, we don't have this anymore. Like nobody say that you're a son of a slave.
All of us
are
slaves. Yes.
So when we come out of Egypt, all of us have equal status.
Pardon?
That's one big
Yeah. But it's also interesting idea. It's also good. But what do you think? It's impossible to be to make tshuva and to be humble without being slave?
It's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Of course.
So we have to look for something, something more, something else that will justify it, the fact that Hashem force us to be in prison. What we got from that? That is the question. That it was impossible in different way. It would have to be in through we have to pass through the slavery. Okay, in order to understand that, we have to remember that philosophical idea of freedom, it's always content inside of idea of freedom, slavery. It's paradox, like we'll say about infinity. Idea of infinity, if we have to think deeply, not easy. It's not simple topic, but you should know that infinity must be limited. Otherwise, it wouldn't be infinite. Think about. This is limit thing. It's not infinite. If it's limited, and all the reality, the idea of infinite, doesn't include this limited thing, infinite is limited by this limited thing. It's infinity in all the world, in all the place, except of in this limit thing. So it means that this limitation limits infinite. You agree with me?
Like
what you're getting at is
Kadosh Baruch
light
Hu
cannot
creating
exist
creating
without dark, you
creating the
translate?
universe.
Yeah, it became a more complicated when we talk about Kadosh Baruch Hu, and that's why I try to talk with you about this philosophical idea of infinite. But you're right; it connected also to Kadosh Baruch Hu in the end. But before, I want to stay only in the idea of abstract thinking, in abstract way. You agree that infinite have to include in self finite limitation? It's obvious. It cannot be different. Can be. It have to be. It's any idea of something that something that not from our world, something abstract. Those attributes of Hashem, all his attributes, they are paradoxical attributes. For example, Almighty have to be limited to be able to be in something that impossible. He cannot do.
To be impossible?
To be impossible.
I don't understand.
Almighty have to be able to be no mighty, like weak.
Say that again.
If I can provide like can God create a rock that he can't lift?
Right.
Is sort of the
that's
question.
It's close to question. I will say some
For
more.
example, if you're almighty,
Limitation
You
is
can also be
inherent
weak.
in unlimitedness.
Yes,
Because you
exactly.
have
But you
unlimited
decide,
power, you
no?
have obviously the
Yes.
power
so
to
you're
impose
not
a
weak.
limitation on yourself.
Actually, just
Yes.
I don't know if that helps at all.
We don't talk about this rock. We talk about something that it's obvious. For example, do Almighty able to be weak,
He chooses to
Yes.
be.
to be
Of course.
enable, invalid, like not invalid, like an
Incapacity.
opposite of Almighty, like he cannot do anything,
If his ability
Helpless.
is infinite.
helpless, or yeah, it's not, yeah, okay, something that he doesn't do anything. He it's cannot do.
He's dependent.
Dependent. No, not it's not depend. Not in it's like he cannot weak. Let's say weak. We did call it weak. Of course. Otherwise, he wouldn't be, or not. He wouldn't be almighty. It's paradox. All attributes have to be. They are paradoxical. Now, when we understand that, we also think about freedom. If like a absolute freedom is not able to limit himself, it's not freedom. You have to be able to limit yourself. This is really freedom. And that's why our soul went to this world. Our soul in this world learn how to act in limited world. And that's why child get hurt by table. Why he get hurt by table? Because child want to go through the table. He still remember a little bit like he was a soul.
oh wow.
soul want to be in any place, everywhere, all the time. But now he is in body, and he's not agreed to be with his body. He want to go through the table, and when he would hurt, he understand that there is a border, there is some limitation. There's something that is not possible, and now he learn how to still acting. He's crying, yes, he cried, but he learned how to act in world that has borders.
He's feeling limited, and he has to know how to deal with the limits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is why he cries a lot.
Yes, in order to be real free, you have to be able to make you feel small. Yeah. And it's look like playing on some musical instrument, let's say guitar. What do you do when you play guitar? It's better to say drin 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 drin, this kind, to be free, to be. No, you have to learn chord. You have to learn notes. Notes, you say, but in music, notes. And why? I want to express myself, to run, to jump, to do that. No, there are rules, and only then you can have good music.
Uh-huh.
When you limit yourself, only then you have music. Without limitation, no music. Without learning how to draw, you'll make all your free, like a Pollock. You know this
Jackson Pollock.
Jackson?
Yeah.
Jackson Pollock. It's also very good. It's okay, but
I think they pay lots of money for it.
yeah, a lot.
Only if you have limits, you know how big it is. If you have concept limits, you know what is distance is.
Yes.
If you know what is distance, you get power or force to conquer it.
Yeah.
If you don't, try
Mhm.
to understand your limits, you can see.
Exactly. And that is idea of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Hakadosh Baruch Hu also limit himself. How Hashem limit himself? For example, he swear to us something. Or he promised something. He says, "Bi nishbati neum Hashem." I swear to you that it will be this and this and that. He limit himself. Like our soul get to the world in order to be able to be real, infinite. You have to the same Hashem. Hashem appears in our reality, and he limits himself by all kind of rules of this world. For example, laws of this world. Even that he make miracles, Maharal says the miracles also they are according some rules. Because yesh seder lenisim, they are ordered to miracles. If there is order, it means that something concrete, something special, and that is creation. That is the idea of creation the world. Hashem went to Egypt by creating the world. How Hashem went to Egypt? Egypt in Hebrew, it's border. This is a translation of this world.
And the border is limits.
Yes.
Mitzrayim, the word Mitzrayim.
Means tsar, something that's narrow.
Yeah.
Too much. With limits, it's narrow.
In Hebrew, you can say gvul. Gvul, it's border. And also you can say meitzar, meitzarim. It's also another like a synonym to border, Mitzarim. This is the idea of Egypt. Egypt, it's of course, there were some country like this. It is some geographical place, no doubt. But it's in Hebrew, and especially in Torah, there is no thing that they are just like this. It always have some meaning. Each word, it goes. You can call to Egypt, Egypt, but in Hebrew we call it Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim, it means border. It's a place of borders.
Like word meitzah.
Meitzar, exactly. That is the idea. We went to, like a soul went to body. This body, HaKadosh Baruch Hu went to create the world. It means that he create borders. And those borders of this world, this is Egypt for Hashem. So when we go back to the beginning of our question, I ask you, no. Another thing I have to add to this. And also, Hashem appears in those borders in different aspects. One of these aspects, it's physical world. Another aspect, it's like I say, spiritual. Our soul went to body. Another aspect of Hashem's limitation, it's in history through Am Yisrael. It's not there is God in heaven, in sky or in cloud, I don't know where, and he conduct from there our world. This is not Jewish picture. Hashem is everywhere. And if it's everywhere, it means that he revealed himself through the Am Yisrael, through Jewish nation. We, Israel, we are one of aspects of Hashem. Like Hashem revealed himself in earth, in matter, in plant, in animals, in man, he also revealed himself in nation, Jewish nation. It's Hashem's revelations. It's not just there is the plants, animals, matter, and this man. No. It's all different aspects of oneness. And in a level of this oneness, in aspect of a history of a nation, we went to Egypt. Like Hashem went to this world. Like a soul went to, it means it will never be this picture that I told you in the beginning of our lesson, that someone walked on the street, somebody captured him, kidnapped him, put in his prison. How is it? Martef, basement, yeah, like in basement, put them there and keep him some 4 years, and then he said, "Okay, now you can tell me thank you very much." No, it's a picture about two different people. But in reality, what had happened, it's Hashem put him in his prison. Egypt.
He put Israel in Egypt in prison. When we come out and we say thank you.
It's not somebody that did it to us. And when we went out from Egypt, it's written, "V'Hashem utzi kol tzvaot," Hashem from Mitzrayim. All his army, he went out from Egypt. It's written about Kadosh Baruch Hu, that he went out of Egypt. So, and last thing that we have to understand today, that what we earn from that we will justify it. We earn ability to limit ourselves, ability to not to be slaves of our instincts. Without Egypt, we could be, that's what I want. That we don't know how to limit it ourselves, because that is my desire. So you became a slave of your desire, slave of yourself. And when you know that you are able to be disciplined, to obey, that is your ability. Now you can, if you want, you can use it. If not, not. But it depends on you. That is what gives you this richness, this freedom. That when you are not able to limit yourself, you are a slave of your desire. But if you decide it, now you are really free. If you want, you can get. And that's what we learn in Egypt. And only after Egypt we could receive Torah. Because why we couldn't receive Torah in Eretz Canaan, in Jerusalem, because we say, why should I limit myself? Why should I keep Shabbat? I am not able to do that. It's impossible. It's impossible. But when we saw that it's possible, you did what your master said you did, right? So what I'm saying, you also will do it. It's possible. Only then we couldn't receive Torah. That they command us not to eat something, not to do something, to keep Shabbat and all that.
We think of this as the opposite. Well, the slave mentality that we had. We think of this as the opposite of freedom. But you're saying that the slave mentality helps us to listen to Kadosh Baruch Hu?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that would make you really free from your slavery, for slavery in yourself, because you always will be slave. All the question is slave of whom? Of your master, of yourself, or your soul. And if you are slave of your soul, you understand that it's you want that, you choose that. You decided to be like this. That is real freedom. Okay.
Baruch.